Imagine waking up tomorrow to a news alert so seismic it rewrites the global financial landscape overnight. Your phone is buzzing with notifications, news channels are blaring with breaking reports, and a single, staggering number is flashing across every financial ticker in the world: the value of the Iraqi dinar has just skyrocketed. This isn't a drill, and this isn't another rumor from the depths of an online forum. This is the moment an entire community has been waiting for, and according to the most credible, ground-level intelligence we have ever compiled, that moment is no longer a question of if, but a definitive, impending when. The gears of a financial mechanism so complex and so deliberately orchestrated have finally begun to turn, and the long-awaited RV, or revaluation, of the Iraqi dinar is now on the verge of becoming a tangible, life-altering reality. The silence you're perceiving from the mainstream media is not an indication of inaction, it is the eerie calm before a storm of unimaginable economic transformation. Behind the scenes, a series of meticulously planned events have been unfolding with a precision that points towards a single, inevitable conclusion. The key to understanding this imminent shift lies not in watching the static official exchange rate, but in deciphering the monumental changes happening within Iraq's own political and legislative frameworks. For decades, the nation has been plagued by instability, but the recent, and quite sudden, period of political cohesion is the first and most critical domino to fall. The Iraqi government has successfully passed a federal budget that is not only the largest in its history but is also structurally designed for a post-revaluation economy, with allocations for infrastructure, social programs, and international projects that are mathematically impossible to fund at the current, artificially suppressed dinar value. This budget acts as a blueprint, a public declaration of intent that only makes logical sense if the currency is on the cusp of a significant upward adjustment. Furthermore, the intense and surprisingly successful negotiations between the federal government in Baghdad and the Kurdish regional government have resulted in a stable oil revenue-sharing agreement, effectively removing one of the most persistent and destabilizing internal conflicts. This unification on the financial front is a non-negotiable prerequisite for presenting a stable, investable nation to the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. Speaking of the international stage, the pressure from the global community for Iraq to comply with international banking and monetary standards has reached a fever pitch. The international banking system, particularly the Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, or SWIFT, has been integrating with Iraq's domestic banking platforms in a series of upgrades that are specifically designed to handle a currency with a much higher value and a far greater volume of international transactions. These are not routine IT updates, these are the digital rails upon which a revalued currency will travel across the globe. Banks are preparing for a scenario where the dinar transitions from a near-exotic currency to a recognized, tradable asset class. The removal of Iraq from the Chapter 7 sanctions was the initial unshackling, but what we are witnessing now is the active retrofitting of the entire nation's financial engine to run on a new, powerful fuel, a dinar that reflects the true, immense wealth of the nation, a wealth rooted in one of the world's largest proven reserves of crude oil and a potentially massive, untapped non-oil economy. The stage is set, the actors are in place, and the final cues are being given. The countdown has genuinely begun. So what are these specific, tangible triggers that could flip the switch at literally any moment? The intelligence points to three converging pipelines of activity that are all reaching their critical pressure points simultaneously. The first, and most immediate, is the finalization of Iraq's compliance with the international anti-money laundering and counter-terrorist financing standards set forth by the Financial Action Task Force. For years, this has been a significant stumbling block, but our sources within Iraqi financial institutions confirm that the Central Bank of Iraq has successfully implemented a new, real-time electronic financial reporting system that monitors every single large-scale transaction moving in and out of the country. This system has now been audited and given a preliminary green light by international regulators. The moment the final, formal certificate of compliance is issued, a massive barrier to Iraq's full integration into the global financial system will vanish, effectively opening the floodgates for foreign institutional investment that has been waiting on the sidelines for this very signal. This is not speculation, this is a bureaucratic formality that is in its final stages of approval. The second trigger is directly linked to the nation's most valuable asset, oil. The recent new oil and gas law, which has been debated for nearly 2 decades, is now in its final legislative stages. This law will provide a clear, unified, and attractive framework for major international oil companies to enter into long-term production sharing agreements, bringing in hundreds of billions of dollars in foreign direct investment. However, these contracts are being negotiated and are ready to be signed, but they are predicated on a stable and realistic currency valuation. It is economically unfeasible for a company like ExxonMobil or Shell to sign a 30-year contract when the local currency is subject to wild fluctuations and is fundamentally undervalued. The revaluation is, therefore, a necessary commercial prerequisite for unlocking this next wave of oil wealth. The contracts are drafted and sitting on desks, awaiting the RV to become executable. The third and most potent trigger is the shift from a cash-based economy to a digital one. The Central Bank of Iraq has launched an aggressive campaign to promote electronic payments and digital wallets, aiming to drastically reduce the amount of physical currency in circulation. Why is this so critical? Because for a revaluation to be stable and sustainable, the government and central bank must have a clear understanding of the money supply. An enormous, unquantified amount of dinar exists outside of Iraq, held by international speculators. By shifting the population to digital currency, the authorities can effectively ring-fence the domestic economy and gain a precise measure of the monetary base, allowing them to execute the revaluation with surgical precision, minimizing economic shock and preventing hyperinflation. The public adoption of this digital system is happening at an accelerated pace, driven by government initiatives and banking incentives. Once the digital footprint reaches a critical mass, a threshold we are rapidly approaching, the central bank will have the control and the data it needs to pull the trigger. These 3 pipelines, international compliance, oil contract activation, and digital monetary control, are not separate streams, they are interconnected and reinforcing. Progress in one accelerates progress in the others. They have created a feedback loop of readiness that is culminating in a window of opportunity that is open right now. The waiting is not for events to start, it is for them to be formally announced. Now, let's talk about what happens when the announcement is made. The sequence of events will be swift, coordinated, and designed to ensure order. It will not be a chaotic free-for-all. The first official word will likely come from the Central Bank of Iraq in a coordinated press release with the International Monetary Fund. This will be quickly followed by confirmations from the U.S. Treasury Department and other major central banks around the world. The new rate will be established, and it will be a fixed, international rate, not a floating one initially. This is to provide stability and prevent the kind of speculative volatility that could undermine the entire project. The initial period, often referred to as the tiered exchange period, will see different channels open for different types of holders. International currency exchanges and primary banking partners will be the first to facilitate the exchange, likely with certain thresholds and requirements for documentation to ensure compliance with international law. For the average person holding dinar, the process will be straightforward but will require patience. You will not be able to walk into your local bank and exchange millions of dinar on day one without the proper paperwork proving the origin of your funds. This is not a restriction to prevent you from benefiting, it is a global anti-money laundering protocol that applies to every currency exchange of a significant size. The key is to have your ducks in a row, your currency should be securely stored, and you should have a basic understanding of the Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering policies of the bank or exchange service you plan to use. The subsequent economic impact will be staggering. Iraq will instantly transition from a developing nation to one of the wealthiest countries per capita on the planet. This newfound wealth will be channeled into rebuilding its infrastructure, roads, schools, hospitals, and energy grids, creating a construction and engineering boom that will ripple across the globe, benefiting international companies and creating countless jobs. The Iraqi people will see their purchasing power transformed, leading to a massive consumer boom. But the impact is not confined to Iraq. A revalued dinar will reshape the economic balance of the entire Middle East, creating a new financial hub and a powerful counterweight to existing regional powers. It will also trigger a reassessment of other undervalued currencies and assets, as the global market recognizes the potential for similar recalculations of national wealth. For you, the individual who had the foresight to invest in this potential, it represents a once-in-a-lifetime financial transformation. It is the validation of a belief held through years of skepticism and doubt. This is about more than just money. It's about the freedom and opportunities that financial security can provide, the ability to support your family, invest in your passions, and secure a legacy for future generations. The information has been delivered to you clearly and concisely, straight from the core of the intelligence network. The pieces are all in place. The silence is about to break. Now, here is what you need to do immediately. Do not wait for the news to hit the mainstream media. By then, the initial window of opportunity will already be narrowing. Right now, go and double-check that your currency is in a safe, secure, and accessible location. Then, take the next critical step, research and identify the specific, reputable exchange channels in your country that are likely to facilitate this process. Do not get caught in a last-minute scramble. Preparation is the key that will unlock this door for you. Your foresight has brought you to this precipice of change. Let decisive action carry you across. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and be ready to move. The time for waiting is over, the time for preparation is now.